Today we want to go over a few reasons why you should consider a Otto Hutt Design08 and an Otto Hutt designC. Let's do that. Good fellas, I'm Naldi and we are at styleofzug. You know my love for the Design08 and the designC, so we want to go over the reasons why I love these pens and why I think that these are absolutely magnificent pieces that must be in the collection of a fountain pen lover and of someone that loves to write. Before we start, I have the goal of reaching 50,000 subscribers this year. Around 70% of the people who are watching the video haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So why don't you subscribe to the channel right now? It's totally free. It will help us out with coming up with more very exciting content, and I cannot wait to show you what we have. We have a collector talk with Horst coming up. We have a wonderful manufacturer video at Elwood. I was at the atelier of Agnès Paul de Passe, which created the wonderful straw marquetry of Caran d'Ache, limited to 20 pieces. So just imagine what we have upcoming. Well, now good fellas, it's time to discover why I think that the designC and the designC are two wonderful pieces. Sometimes you ask yourself, why do I wear only one glove and on the other hand I don't? Today we're going to demonstrate the designC that I've been using for the last 4 years, and the designC that we have at the store here is a sample. Still, when I go with bare fingers over it, I'm happy to have a glove because I can always clean up the pen, while the designC honestly doesn't need to be cleaned out. We're gonna start with the designC, which is the first edition that Otto Hutt did, and that is probably one of the most exciting editions that Otto Hutt ever did. This is the piece that celebrates 100 years of Otto Hutt as a company. Designed by Mark Brown, and the specialty of it is the fact that Otto Hutt decided to go for a very minimalistic, less is more kind of Bauhaus writing instrument, which in my opinion requires quite courage, because it's much easier to do something that looks, you know, a bit fancier, and therefore people look at it and say, oh, that's so fancy, I'm gonna buy it, it's surely something expensive, then creating something that might look simple at first hand, but honestly, it's also true that it's so well made, and the design work made by Mark Brown has been so smart that whenever you look at it, you know that this is not just a simple tube or a simple pen. 925 sterling silver overall, at 925 sterling silver that ages over time and therefore will get a patina. Honestly, as soon as you take this pen out of its box, it's gonna start having little micro scratches, it's gonna start having a wonderful shading on the silver, and that's part of the beauty of the designC. And what I really love, one of the reasons why I think that you must have a designC, is that the little details make the difference. You have two little dots that always align when you close down the cap, and these two little dots that also serve as a roll stopper are an 18-karat gold, so they didn't go for, you know, normal brass and then overlaying it, but actually going for solid gold. And as I told you, the closing mechanism always closes down in the same position. It has a two-tone 18-karat gold nib. Check out how it writes. It's a pure joy to write with. Medium nib, it also comes in F and in broad. And then we have this wonderful waved grip section in steel with PVD plating, which I find so beautiful and such a different detail than the overall very clean and straight look of the pen itself. The filling mechanism is a piston filling mechanism, but it's not a simple piston filling mechanism because it's a pull and twist. So I will call this a V1 pull and twist mechanism, because you would just pull it back and then start turning in order to fill up the ink in the reservoir of the pen. The reservoir is the part in the barrel that holds the ink, and then you would actually make sure that you're closing it down. Also here, look at this wonderful detail. You have the OH engraved on the barrel, and you have 925 with a little line that then has to come together in order to close it down. And it's a limited edition of 500 pieces. I would say the only numbered limited edition of Otto Hutt that has ever been made. Therefore, we're talking about a piece that will have a huge relevance on the market, even more once it will be sold out. It will be gone and everybody everybody will start looking at it, especially considering that, you cannot bring this writing instrument back to its former glory in terms of cleanness on the 925 Sterling Silver. So once you take it out and start using it, the pen really becomes yours. Now we want to go further to another edition that Otto Hutt had released, and I'm talking about the designC. This is another project that Otto Hutt decided to hand over to Mark Brown. And I always get excited when you hand over a project to a designer. And honestly, I've worked with designers and I've seen works made by designers, and there's designers and designers. And when you hand over a work to a designer and he's able to pull you out first a designC like that, and then a designC like this, with such a concept, also with a certain kind of complexity, but that can be industrialized in the manufacturer, I think that we have an absolutely world-class player, which is Mark Brown, also the designer of the best-selling Nomos watch, which is the Nomos Metro. Also here, this writing instrument here is totally inspired to Bauhaus, where form follows function. We have vertical and horizontal guillotine, vertical on the piston grip section, horizontal on the barrel, and then vertical on the cap again, because the guillotine follows the function of the element. The cap is usually pulled out vertically, but then you have the barrel and you write with it horizontally, and also the pull and twist filling mechanism. You have to deblock it, yes, but you have to pull it out in order to start activating it. Also here we have a very nice black PVD grip section with a screw system that once again always closes down in the same direction. So you always have the clip that is facing the nib, and on the other side you always have the Germany 08 and then the number of your specific edition. It's an 18 karat gold nib. I love the fact that they used gold. I told you that several times on Instagram and probably on other videos. The most cliche thing you could do is to put a ruthenium or a black PVD nib and say, yeah, it keeps on following the colors of the overall very grayish and the Bauhaus kind of colors. But no, Mark Brown said, no, we want to have the nib in gold because it must give warmth to the whole piece. And that is what makes this nib so beautiful, because every time you actually unscrew and discover the nib, you actually have the warmth of the gold coming out on a very gray pen. You might know that this pen here comes also in black PVD and in all gold PVD. Definitely think it's worth it to collect all three. I have many collectors who decided to own the three pieces. Well, no doubt, we're talking about an absolutely iconic writing instrument and an excellent writer. That is what I love most. This is the piece that I carry with me together with the Sailor King of Pen if I want to be sure that I have a piece that performs extremely well. Just look at it. The designC is not a limited edition. This is a regular edition. Maybe the only thing that might happen at some point is that the request will be so big that there will be more demand than what Otto Hutt is actually able to deliver. It's a very complex writing instrument to do. Think about also the fact that they did this ruthenium plating over it, or about the concave top and the concave bottom also, which is a little detail that shows that Otto Hutt didn't compromise on these pens. And that's what I love about a writing instrument, about a product, about a brand, is the fact that they decided not to compromise on what needed to be done. Well, good fellas, let me know down in the comment, what is your favorite one? Is it the designC or is it the designC? I can't wait to read from you. Every time that you leave a comment, you're adding so much to this community. People watching, what they do as next thing is they go down to the comments and they read what you think about it. So it's always valuable to read your comments, and I always answer to, I would say, 95% of comments as fast as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content that is coming up, and don't forget that together we are changing the game.